Today we're going to be making one of my favorite dishes, broccoli cheddar soup. This is kind of an easy go-to dish for me. Both I and my wife love it. The ingredients are usually pretty cheap, they're pretty fresh, easy to get. I can also make this all in one pan. It doesn't take long. And this version is better than Poo-nera breads. We'll start with about 4 medium carrots. Peel those. Next we're going to grate the carrots. And hopefully you have about 1.5 cups of carrot. Next we're going to chop the florets off of 2 big stems of broccoli. This should be about 4 to 5-ish cups of broccoli at the end. I like to start by removing the big parts first, making sure I leave a good amount of the stem. We're actually going to chop that up and use it in the soup. And now what I'll do is basically the same thing with the little florets, is I'll chop them around like that, giving myself this base stem, which I'll cut up more, and we'll get a bunch of perfectly bite-sized florets in our soup. If they're a little too big, I'll chop them in half. I like them to be about this size. Put all this in our bowl with our carrots. And then I cut these just so that they're thin enough to make sure they're gonna cook in the 10 to 15 minutes the soup simmers. You don't want these pieces to be so thick that they don't soften when they simmer. Some of my biggest florets for comparison. And finely diced 1 onion into the bowl. Let's also prepare our cheese. I'm going to shred 4 ounces of sharp cheddar cheese and 4 ounces of regular cheddar cheese. I like the balance that this provides. And you should have yourself about a couple cups worth of cheese. We're gonna wanna set this aside at room temperature while we cook. Go ahead and get yourself a big, like 5-6 quart pot like this one. And on medium-high heat, we're gonna melt an entire stick of salted butter. Once your butter is melted, in goes all of our goodies. Onion, broccoli, carrot. Go ahead and stir that with a soft tip spatula, just until everything's kind of coated in the butter a little bit. I like to use a soft tip and the folding motion to avoid breaking my florets. And we're gonna sweat these for about 10 minutes on medium-high heat, making sure to fold them over every now and again. After about 10 minutes or so, your vegetables should have sweated down quite a lot. To that, we're gonna add 2.5 cups of chicken stock, 1 cup of heavy cream, and 1 cup of milk. Sprinkle about 1/4 cup of flour over the top, and mix that in as best you can. Add about 1/2 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. Stir again. We're gonna bring this up to a simmer and then immediately turn it down to low to keep a simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. You can see this is just starting to simmer around the edges. This is where I'm gonna wanna turn the heat down to low, and I will leave this to simmer uncovered for about 10 to 15 minutes or until it's thickened. Don't forget to stir this every couple minutes or so. After about 10 or 12 minutes, your soup should have thickened up quite nicely to about a nappe consistency, which is exactly where we want it. We can go ahead and kill the heat and throw in all of our cheese. Go ahead and stir all that in until it's melted, gooey, and delicious. This is also where we're going to want to stop and add a good amount of salt. I start with about 1/2 teaspoon and go from there. For the last part, you're gonna wanna use your best tool in the kitchen, your mouth. And I happen to have salted mine perfectly. And that's how I make my broccoli cheddar soup. Better than Poo-nera breads every single time, I promise. If you want more simple and easy dishes that are gourmet to make, go ahead and follow me for more. I've also been interested in streaming things like this, 30 to hour minute dishes like this, or maybe even pasta. If you guys would be interested in something like that, leave a comment down below. And happy cooking.